All right, so that's how come the Angolans made it to the last 8. Before that, you saw the story of the Nigerians. So the two of them will meet this evening at 5 p.m. And by the time that game ends, somebody's on their flight back home or wherever it is they came from. Somebody will progress. We don't know whether the AFCON winner will come from this game. But so now let me start off with you. We've seen everybody's journey. Nigeria's journey, a little bumpy on the way, but they made a group stage, beat Cameroon. I thought they were very good in that game against Cameroon. And now they are here playing for the right to be called AFCON 2023 semi-finalists. Just your general thoughts on what you've seen from them in these 4 games that they've played.
Well, for Nigeria, personally, I've seen them evolve from a certain kind of football. We know them and we initially associated with them. We thought that they were going to come into this competition. Personally, I thought they were going to come here and then just blew everybody out of the water because of the attacking power they had. But now it has rather switched. It's their defense that's keeping them in the competition. And you have to hand it to them how they finally found a way to put together a solid tournament momentum and get it going. They are the highest ranked team, and at this point, it's their tournament to lose. But this game would really prove that they need, whether they need to win it or they are not yet there. Okay. Both of them have certain things similar, but we'll get to that a bit later. But for Nigeria, this is the biggest stage for them to go on. They are trying to equal a certain record, and which
they have the opportunity to stay on course for that. Emmanuel, let's talk a bit about the Angolans. What have you made of their journey? We saw them also evolve, and like you said, when you look at the nature of the football and I won't call it surprise, but the results, I can understand why you nominate them as your surprise pick of the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, for a team that prior to the tournament couldn't find the nets, to score 9 goals in 4 games, that's very impressive. And I mean, that's front 3. Gelson Dala, Mabululu, and then Gilberto. Yeah. Then you have Freddie in behind them. They've between those 4 players, they found something which seems to be working for them. Okay. Out of the 9 goals they've scored, Gilberto and Mabululu have 7. So then it looks like if you are going to face Angola and any of these 4, any of these 3, if you don't put a man on them, you don't stop them from being effective, you are really going to find trouble. And if you look at how the tournament has gone with what Selkem was saying, you'd think you'd think Nigeria, a team like Nigeria, with the attacking prowess they boast, would have been more like an end-to-end game because Angola also like to attack very well. They pass, they move. And you look at, I think, the second goal against Namibia, where Freddie is in, he can actually shoot, but he's looking for the best pass to make the chance even more easier. Yeah. And that's the kind of team they are. So for a team with that much chemistry, going against Nigeria, who now, with all the offensive prowess they have, are a defensive team. But I've actually been very impressed with their defense. Okay. I think outside the first game, and when they switched to a back 3 or a back 5, they've not conceded any goal. So it's going to be a very interesting watch. But then, with the attacking power of Angola, with how they possess the ball and how they move around, I've personally not been too impressed with Nigeria's midfield. Okay. Onyeka, yes, he's been good in some games. He's not been too good. Offensively, yes, Iwobi has been good. But then if you look at that, Freddie in there, and you look at the attacking powers that Angola have forward, I think they can cause this Nigeria team real problems. I don't think Cameroon challenged them enough. Cameroon actually didn't score any proper goal apart from goals from crosses. And in that game, it didn't work. Guinea didn't threaten them. I think outside Equatorial Guinea, no other team really threatened Nigeria much. But I do think that this Angolan team have that firepower with how they move around and how they possess the ball. And that will put this Nigerian defense to a proper test. And it will be a great watch. I'm just hoping that Angola wins, honestly.
But, if we focus a lot more on the capabilities of the Angolans, and you guys have highlighted brilliantly how Nigeria have become almost like a counter-attacking team while the Angolans get on the ball and play. How, if you are Angola and you find yourself in this position, I'm sure typically they would love to be in Nigeria's position where they are the underdogs. How do they handle such a game where Nigeria have almost become this counter-attacking team and they now have to probably go after Nigeria?
Well, actually, both of them, in as much as Angola tend to keep the ball a little bit more than the Nigerians, as we've seen in the tournament, both of them tend to cede the possession to the other team so that they try and all play on the break. So it's going to be a very, very interesting watch because it's like, in as much as they are set up differently, they play with a similar mentality. Let's try and hit people on the counter. But the Angolans do it much more differently. They do it with a little bit more panache, I would say, and the Nigerians are more direct. So if I am Pedro, is it Goncalves?
Yes, Pedro Goncalves.
Let's move the ball quickly. The Nigerian defense, they sit really deep and they've closed all the spaces. Yeah. So if you're going to be able to penetrate this Nigerian defense, you need to really move the ball quickly. Mm-hmm. And one person, that's Mobolulu, he needs to just take out two of those defenders, pick one person, isolate him, and create opportunity for the likes of Freddie to try and get in some runs, and also Gilberto coming in with some crosses. Crossing in this game will be very difficult for them if they try to go wide, but if they try coming in a bit, it will be a bit easier. Moving the ball quicker is all the key that Angola needs.
I see. Imano, for the Nigerians, what's the most appropriate way to approach this Angolan team? High on confidence, ruthless in attack. How can they neutralize the Angolans and make the last four?
I think Simon doesn't have to start this game.
He's had a very underwhelming competition.
Yes, he's not been that good. I think Chukwueze should start this game.
Okay.
I like how Osimhen seems to be a bit more selfless now, seeing that he will be the one that the defense will have their eyes on. He's more or less playing a decoy role and try to feed in Lookman and whoever else is playing up front with him. But I'll still need more from him. I don't think he's the reigning African Footballer of the Year. I'll need to see more from him. And just as my colleague said, it's Nigeria's tournament to lose. They are the highest ranked team now. So they will need to show their prowess in this game. They will need to, break off a bit of the defense, impose your will in this game. Because the longer it stays 0-0, the more Angola will grow in confidence, the more Angola will try and find a way to break them down. So Nigeria, I think I need to see a bit more from this. Prove to us that you are truly the African Player of the Year.
But that would be almost going against what has gotten them here. And for Jose Peseiro, who wants to keep his job, one bad result and he's out.
Yeah, but it's the knockout stage. I don't think you'd want to, for a team like Nigeria, I don't think you'd want to gamble with penalties. You don't want to go the way Egypt went, where they felt, our goalkeeper is phenomenal. Yeah. Once it gets to penalties, we are winning, and he's actually the one that misses. You don't want to play that game. Okay. You don't want to kill the game in 90 minutes. Rest your legs for the next round. You didn't want it to, because the longer the game stays, the underdog tends to grow in confidence. They tend to have something more to grab to. You also become desperate because you feel like you're the bigger team and you have a point to prove. And in that situation, in that sequence, it normally favors the underdog. So I don't think Nigeria should even be looking at that. The earlier they score, disrupt Angola's game plan, throw it out the window. Then now they are forced to do something which they don't want to do, and they play it into your hands because already you are set up defensively and you don't want to counter them. Then now you can float those balls to Osimhen, let him hold on, bring the other players like Lookman, Chukwueze, or whoever is playing with them in play. Then you kill the game. If they don't do that, the game stays barren for longer. Angola growing confidence. They just need one goal and they are going to sit back. They are never going to come forward. And that would be very disastrous for Nigeria because it's their tournament to lose, actually.
Interesting. We'll see how the Super Eagles will fare. Let's have a look at their numbers, or the numbers that have accompanied these two teams to this stage of the competition. Nigeria, they've scored 5. They've considered only 1. 3 clean sheets with Ademola Lookman as their top scorer. Never in my life did I think I'd be reading something like Ademola Lookman. I don't know why. The enduring image of Lookman fluffing a panenka in the Premier League is still in my head. So. But he's playing very well in Italy these days for Atalanta. So, that's that. Let's have a look at the Angolan numbers. 8 goals. I don't know whether they're the tournament's top scorers. I think they are. I'm not too sure.
I think so. Maybe between them and
second most, I'm told. Second most. They've conceded 3. So Cape Verde. That's it. Cape Verde. Wow. Tournament's leading scorers. Amazing. 8 goals scored, 3 conceded, 1 clean sheet. Gelson Dalla has 2. The final bit, though, guys, if there's anything we've seen from this Angola team is the delivery and the danger from the set plays. You know, Gilberto is whipping them in. That will be a concern to Nigeria. Emmanuel.
Well, I mean,
or they've got the physicality to deal with it.
I think if you, as my colleague said once again, if you are going to beat this Nigerian team, it will have to be intricate play in the middle. You'd have to move players, move into space, move the ball quicker. Try to move the defense around a little bit, because we clearly saw against, was it Cote d'Ivoire also, that nobody is going past Calvin Bassey on the left. You're not going past Ola Aina on the right.
Yeah.
So if you are going to concentrate,
and Truste Kong is an imposing figure at the back.
Ajayi is also tall. Nothing is getting past him in there. So if you are going to concentrate all your play out wide, you are going to be setting up yourself for failure, because now what you'd have to do is you'd have to commit either 2 men to outnumber whoever is out there wide. Yeah. That's committing more men there. You leave the gaps in the middle. They play through either the half spaces. They'll kill you. So they will have to, first of all, be able to keep the ball. The game will be in spells. Nigeria will have their spells. They also have their spells. When they have theirs, there will have to be some movement, because the concentration obviously will be on Mabululu. He's the big man. Yeah. He pins them down. Maybe he can draw himself a bit deeper so that the 2 other white players get in there. Freddie can pick some passes, break the lines. That's the way they'll beat Nigeria. But if they are set plays to, yes, it's going to be a bit more difficult, but maybe not corners, because when it's a corner, they are more set up.
Yeah, of course.
But then if it's a set play, let's say 40 or 50 yards from pole, they'll probably try to set the line up a bit. There's
or
movement.
An in-play situation where you find the cross.
Exactly. Yeah. And these Nigerian keepers, they've not been that convincing. let's be serious.
take
Zoho and whoever is catching out.
I was reading quotes from Jose Pesero talking about the first keeper, and his name has escaped me. He's saying that if he's not
Zoho?
No, it's Nwabeli.
Yeah,
I think
that if he's not fit, Zoho plays. And the reaction under that tweet, no Nigerians do not want to see Zoho.
No, but actually, their number one, I gather, is he has been training with the team for 2 days now, so he might.
Zoho.
No.
Zoho
is not.
Zoho is a no-no.
He's a no-no. The Nigerians don't want him in the post.
They don't even want Ojo, who is the 3rd choice, to even come close to their post.
Wow, this is interesting.
So they are lucky. He's going to possibly start. But this is the game that your big man up front, Cup Player of the Year, he should score. If he doesn't score in this game, I don't fancy him scoring in any other game.
But maybe he could be like an Olivier Giroud, right?
But
you don't score, but you do every other thing. Your teammates get the goals. Nigeria wins the AFCON.
Yeah, but looking at his previous game and the amount of pressure he applied on...
Some of the chances he has missed have been glaring.
Yeah.
The Cote d'Ivoire game.
In this game, he's going to get a lot of chances because of Gaspar, the number 6 shattered man for Angola. He has a lot of mistakes around him, so he just needs to isolate him and have the beating of him.
I see. Just finally, though, on Angola, should they exit today? Should they be disappointed? If they exit today, should they be disappointed?
Not at all. They should keep their heads high. They should find a way of bringing youngsters into this team to keep their name up there. These guys are getting into the twilight of their career, so they need to find young talent to keep the Angola name there, as other countries are failing to recognize that they are big footballing nations. Other people...
What is the meaning? Every day you are here throwing jabs, shades to who I don't know. No, which country? Which you tell us the country?
Maybe. In this case, Ghana is failing to know that it's a footballing nation, and other nations.
Mention names every day
because they are not in the competition anymore.
So you can't mention their names.
No, those who are not in the competition, we can only refer to them.
Let's talk about.